The only thing known about Grimace is that he is a species. So there are more of him, but the species is unknown. So he's not one entity, but one of many. But where did Grimace come from? He's not exactly an unfamiliar face, you know? We've seen him in the PlayStation, in McDonald's. We've seen him in like those really old retro video game things that you could play at the McDonald's. That was a great... Why did they take that out? That was probably my favorite part of the playground. We've seen him there. We've seen him as literally toys on our Happy Meals, but where did he come from? Well, let's go back to 1970s, okay? Sid and Marty Krofft, they come together and they want to make a new TV show for kids. And this TV show is called HR Puff and Stuff. It's like a big production. They make all these new sets. They have these big characters and puppets and everything. It's the whole spiel. HR Puff and Stuff stars Jimmy, a boy who's around, I'd say, 12 to 14 years old. And he has a flute. And he loves this flute so much that he's frolicking in the field, playing his flute and having a great time, and he's wearing brown bell-bottoms, okay? And as he's skipping around, he suddenly sees downwards a lake, and at the dock of that lake is a boat, a really weird-looking boat, and he says, well, why the heck not? I got nothing else better to do, so he hops in the boat and sails away. And he's having a great time, but that's until a sudden storm occurs, and now he's like going back and forth and getting thrown around by the waves, but also at the same time, a witch appears and is like floating around him on a broom, like a vulture, saying, I want your flute. He's panicking, and he ends up crashing onto an island, and that island is called Living Island. And on the island are a cast of characters, but the one that comes to save the day, to save Jimmy from the floating pedophile that's circling him, is HR Puff and Stuff, the mayor of Living Island. And he comes along and he takes Jimmy, and along with him are his two acquaintances, Clang and Clang, who are like the police of Living Island. And the entire show is based off Jimmy learning life lessons like pronouns, participating in talent shows, getting sick. The only conflict that he ever runs into is that, like, the witch lives a little bit a ways, and that, like, maybe they cross paths here and there. But so this show went on in the 1970s. It was really popular. Everyone loved HR Puff and Stuff. Children loved getting together on weekends to watch new episodes of HR Puff and Stuff. But the people who really liked HR Puff and Stuff was McDonald's. McDonald's loved HR Puff and Stuff. They loved the entire concept of having a land full of magical creatures and life lessons and getting kids wrapped into this fantasy world. And so they reached out to Sid and Marty and they said, hey, we want to collaborate. We want you to make something similar to HR Puff and Stuff, but for McDonald's, so we could have our own set of commercials and merchandise that is a similar vibe. But, you know, this is a collaborative process. And Sid and Marty, they say, all right, let's do it. Why not? This is a big opportunity for two people to collaborate with one of the biggest fast food chains in America and of all time. So they start working on this project. They write up a contract. They make a campaign. Everything is great. And halfway through the process, all of a sudden, McDonald's closes the entire thing. They shut the campaign off. They cut ties with Sid and Marty, and they say, oh, we're canceling the project. We just don't know if this is the right direction for McDonald's at this time. And they're like, oh, okay. That sucks, but okay. Then out of nowhere, McDonald's rises again and puts the campaign back on. But they don't reach out to Sid and Marty to be like, hey, we're gonna do it. Do you want to help us? Instead, they opened up the campaign. The contract was put back on. They won the rights to the contract and also took all the creative characters and plot lines that they had made together with Sid and Marty, and they just took it without telling them, and they made McDonald Land, a set of commercials from the 70s to the early 2000s, where they took plots and characters and sets from HR Puff and Stuff and put it into these commercials that were McDonald Land. And they had a mayor, and the mayor was a cheeseburger, and he looked exactly to a T like HR Puff and Stuff, with the whole mayor bit kind of costume and all the cadence in his voice. And if you're thinking, well, you know what? There's no concrete evidence that this is a direct copy. I mean, they might have just taken inspiration. You know, sometimes people, you know, we all go on us artists, we all go on Pinterest and we find certain styles and we're like, you know what, I want to draw like that. And then bam, we kind of incorporate it. we kind of put it into how we make our art, right? Well, here's the thing. Not only that, but McDonald's also went out and hired people who made sets and made puppets for HR Pufnstuf to work on their commercials. And not only that, they also reached out to people who voiced characters in HR Pufnstuf to do voice work for the McDonald Land creatures. And so now there's this whole situation, and HR Pufnstuf is going down in sales. It's going down in production. People and kids are not paying attention to HR Pufnstuf. This then turns into a lawsuit. They take it to court and they say, hey, these McDonald assholes, they took our shit and they made their own shit. So what now? And this is a very rare occasion where a court will take the side of a creative, but the court was like, yeah, you're right. Those bitches stole your shit. And they're like, they stole our shit. And so the court instructed McDonald's to pay them $50,000 in damages from stealing characters, plot lines, set designs, everything, just leeching off. And, well, neither side liked this. HR Pufnstuf side was like, what? That's it? $50,000? What? So they can still do what they want to do? And then McDonald's was like, well, we didn't steal. It doesn't matter. So then the court was like, all right, everyone shut up, fine. McDonald's, you pay them $1 million. Not only that, but you stop making your commercials. You also take out every single character that you plagiarized off of HR Pufnstuf, and you stop making merchandise, you stop making products, you stop promoting it and putting it on your paper bags filled with crappy food, and you don't even advertise the characters anymore. Just take it off the market. And so they did. But this doesn't mean that it was a recovery for HR Pufnstuf, because it's probably the first time you ever heard of HR Pufnstuf. So McDonald's, they had all these cast of characters that they ripped off of, HR Pufnstuf, and so they were only allowed to keep the characters that they created out of their own imagination. And those characters are the Hamburger, Captain Crook, and Grimace. And a few more, but those are the three that have sustained and powered through the whole court spiel. So the importance of McDonald's milking some of their only and few original characters is very important, and even now in 2023, because now Grimace has a whole birthday. And not only that, but people are also getting into comas. I think it's kind of funny how a company will advertise a product and think that it's doing good because they did good advertising, when really people take what they're advertising, make it something completely different, and that's why people want to buy it. If you can make something so ridiculous and so tempting that people can spin it in their own AO3 fanfiction spin-off way to make it a completely different purpose than what the intention was, you've won. You've won the marketing spiel, and that's the only marketing that they don't have to take to court unless someone dies. So sure, the 70s was the first time Grimace has ever went to court, but it may not be the last. I do kind of want to get one, because it's not every day you get to hold a can of diabetes in the palm of your hand. And so, well, I just don't. I don't know. It seems as if Grimace's birthday is the only personality trait that he has. In the 1970s, he celebrated with a under the apple pie tree from his mom, and for his Sweet 16, he got a red car along with his first driver's license. Is it a shame that I got my driver's license 4 years after Grimace? 16, 17, 18, 19, 5 years after Grimace got his? Maybe. Guess who's on the TV on this Sunday morning? Joel Osteen. Where every single cold open that he has is a metaphor for a biblical term. I thought I'd give it a try. Two guys walk into a bar. One says, wow, there seem to be no women here. I wonder why. They start looking around a little bit for the women, and they go, well, Dale, we are not in the bar. We are in the men's bathroom. I got some lovely pieces of advice from a bunch of you from my other talking video, and one of them I'm going to really take to the heart and ingrain this in my brain on a daily basis. ADHD is only a handicap when you're not using it. What the hell is that supposed to mean? That's like saying that my scoliosis is straight every time I don't look in the mirror. When I don't recognize it, the bones go back in place. What are we talking about here? Do we not know the definition of handicap? It's not an interchangeable. It's not like I get to choose when I'm disabled. It's not like I get to choose. Now I sound like Joel Osteen. It's not like I get to choose when I am disabled. But the disability has chosen me to carry it in its physical form. 24/7. In the Bible states. Anyway, I want to embrace a white girl summer. Now, the only way to start that off is to start with a nice, large, iced drink from Starbucks. Now, I know that the white people have expanded their territory and they've tried new things. But I don't like Dunkin' Donuts. And I live in Arizona. I have limited options. One thing about me is that I don't like trying new things. I don't like wasting money to try new things. And I also, the fear of like my reaction to trying something new is why I heavily avoid it. So don't ask me to try a new food or to do this, something, out of the zone, because I think what's gonna be worse is my reaction. So for a good 7 to 8 years, the only beverage I ever had at Starbucks whenever I would go was an iced vanilla latte. Now, that is the worst drink to get. I don't care if you like it. It's not good. Even if you get the queer purpled hair button bitch, you're still gonna have a shit coffee if it's an iced vanilla latte. Why? Because it's the simplest drink, but the most famous coffee company in America doesn't know how to establish it well enough that it actually tastes decent. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks
for seeing us.
Thank you. I'll tell you this, you can't vlog in the car when you live in Arizona because the AC needs to be on full blast. That means that you can't hear me. I had a heat stroke walking out to the car. Speaking of cars, I got mugged. Not mugged, but someone broke into my car, which is bold in itself. But, first of all, it wasn't even my fault that the car was unlocked. It's my dad's. He left it unlocked. Thank God. And you know what's funny? Now every single time at night, even though I'm the one that didn't keep the car unlocked, they both come in my room when it's time to go to bed. They say, "Is the car locked? Is the car locked?" I don't know. Why? This is a self-contradiction question. Why don't you check it, Mr. Car Unlocker? Mr. Leaves it open for a man to come in and steal all of my Japanese currency? Because I had a bunch of Japanese coins left over from my Japan trip. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to keep it, so I kept it in the car. Well, now he's screwed, because now he has to go to a bank to convert it. And when they ask, well, where did you get this change? What's he gonna do? Show his ticket stub to the bus station? Like, do you know how excited I was when this lid came out? I was like, I don't even, like, this was during my iced vanilla latte era when I had nothing else to try and I was too scared, and I was like, it's a horrible drink, but maybe it'll taste better with this lid. And now I want the straw. Now I want to go. Never mind. Here's the issue. Here's what I don't like about drinking at the top, though. You're getting all of this watery ass drink and going, it could be better. When all the potential's down here, all the flavor and every single thing that you purchased to be mixed in, it's sitting at the bottom. And even if you do your little, it's just moving the ice from one point of the circle to another. Nothing's truly being mixed up. Everything's just being turned counterclockwise. That's why you gotta rip the lid off, take yourself a nice long Korean spoon and mix that. All you're drinking is ice. All right. Hi, I'm Annalise. I specialize in photography for Mormon families and polygamy groups. What we'd like to do here is make sure that we are capturing the American essence of your family by making you all dress up in white and taking pictures of you in locations that you've never visited as a family together before, like a meadow in the middle of nowhere, or woods in the middle of December where there are no leaves. We want to make sure that people who are seeing these photos know that you like to get out. This is the only time you've left the house. The type of vibe we're going for is you are a dermatologist and you want to show people in the waiting room that you're a family man. That's what we want to show you. So we have this spread of all your children laughing and having a good time. We want to make sure that these are universal Christmas cards Okay? We want to make sure these can be put on canvases. We want to make sure that the 70-year-old that's being diagnosed with psoriasis is in the waiting room and looks up at that photo and goes, okay, I'm gonna be taken care of. Look at those kids' skin. It's clear as day. I remember once in 3rd grade I lied to like my friend saying, I have a limo. And it waits for me outside every day. But it's camouflage because I don't want people going up to the window and harassing my private driver. So you'll never see it. You'll never see that limo was a white Toyota van. I just came back from North Dakota. Why would I be in North Dakota? Do I look like someone who would voluntarily visit North Dakota? Well, I was there. And we're in prime tick season there. Okay, and not just like ticks along the tall grass and they kind of crawl on you, but they jump. During June and mid-July, they're like Olympic athletes. They just do a long jump and they start sucking. Anyway, because of this, I had specifically avoided to, not get near grass. Tall grass, any grass. I was there last summer and it wasn't a problem. But then again, I was there in like late July. They're all gone by then. Anyway, so there's this moment where I'm like squatting and I'm looking out like at the valley. And the grass doesn't even go up to my ankles, okay? It's flat. It's not even, there's no possibility that a tick would get on me. Anyway, I get back in the car. We're driving back to the place that we're staying at, and I'm laying on the couch, right? And this entire time I have this like blue hoodie over me because I know that these ticks just come from all angles. You could be walking underneath a beautiful massive trees and then just like 5 just plop on your head. And so I'm laying down and like I like get up and I turn to readjust the pillow I'm laying on. No. There lies a tick, sprawled, ready for action, just like, oh God. Yeah, I stripped. I went in the bathroom and I stripped. I patted myself down like I was in TSA. All the corners as well, like right in the cracks. I was just making sure they didn't get up there without me noticing. Because they latch onto you and you can't feel them, right? You can see them, but you can't feel them. Even when they bite, you can't feel them. You notice them when you look and you think that arm that's been a mole for the past 2 weeks is actually just a growing tick infusing Lyme disease in your system. And so anyway, I see this tick and I go, oh my God. It didn't bite me, but it might have, or it could have, or there could have been one that has, and I probably have Lyme disease in me right now. It's sizzling. It's like my constant fear is like a kidney stone is like marinating in me right now, and I don't know it. So then the fear of, oh my God, I should have been at the hospital yesterday. Like, if we want to catch this thing early, I should have been there already. And the hospital's 2 hours away. So then notice that I didn't have my pills at this moment. I have pills now. But at this moment, I didn't have any pills to help with the anxiety. So now, like, my whole body goes into, like, a panic attack moment. Not like a flight or fright, but more of a, somehow, I'm going to convince my body that I have the disease. And it's, like, settling, and it's starting. Because the next day, I wake up, and I have chills, I have a headache, I have a stomach ache. The power of the mind, where nothing happened, no bite even happened. It was just a, what if it bit me? That occurred, that made me go, shit! No. So thank God I'm on pills now, right? Speaking of pills, I took one today, and I was like, let's just see, because I had like a moment, I was like really anxious, or it's like I felt it coming on. I don't know if it's a placebo situation where I'm like, okay, I'm calm. I just felt sleepy. With all the advancements in medicine, you'd think they would have improved on the cough syrup or the NyQuil after all this time, because it still tastes the same as it did when I was 3 years old. And it's still gonna taste that way when I'm 100, laying shriveled, ready to be cremated and put in dirt next to some sort of like saguaro cactus. Honestly, I think just a straight up medicine might taste better than whatever flavoring they're trying to make it. Like grape, citrus, cherry, like that, for some reason that makes it worse. You're adding flavors in that's just enhancing the horribleness of what the original recipe was. And I think I would rather stay up all night than have that like gurgling in the back of my throat and like just seeping into my uvula. Oh, hello. Well, it looks like the video is about to come to a close. Don't look at my closet. If I squint, I can see half of you in there. You think that's messy? Oh. Alright, this is such a shame. Because, I want to be a neat person. I want to have some sort of organization in my life. And my boyfriend is such a naturally neat person. It's incredible. Because he's a man, But that's just because I have a lot of stuff. And I'm very nostalgic and I stick on to things. And he's someone who's like, well, don't need that anymore. And I'm like, wait, hold on. No, I need it. If you've made it to the end of the video, congratulations. You have been able to tolerate more than 20 minutes of me talking, and that is at least 10 minutes more than my parents can stand. All right, we'll see you later. All right. Oh.